Hello there everyone, it's me, your favorite, the Romanian Regent, and today we are coming back to our new series in Hearts of Iron 4, The New Order, Last Days of Europe, with the additional submod Brave New World. And if you are still here watching, don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed this video and subscribe if you are new here. And don't forget to leave a comment if there is a country you would like me to play. Let's go! And we begin with a Federation of Hope. After decades of chaos and despair, hope has finally emerged as the Federation has finally united Russia from an oligarchical world war state in the middle of central Siberia to becoming a rapidly liberalizing democratic federation under the careful guidance of the Federation's second president, Vasily Shukshin. Although we stand united, there is much work that still needs to be done for both the nation and the people before we can begin to look beyond the borders. And while we do that focus, we are going to launch an invasion of Kazakhstan. Dreams of Federation. And we have capitulated the Islamic Republic of Kazakhstan. Indeed, Allah is the most forgiving, the merciful. We can also integrate these territories. Now we can launch an intervention into Central Asia. Let's go! The Asian miners are capitulated and will also integrate their lands. The Russian Dream. When the Soviet Union fell all those years ago, many believed that the dream of Russia fell with it too. The promise of prosperity made by Bukharin fell to pieces with the fall of Moscow and the failures of the West Russian Revolutionary Front. The things were different now. On the streets, whispers of hope could be heard. Every day, thousands of Russians were escaping poverty and reaching prosperity. New businesses were opening across the nation. It had appeared that with the conclusion of the national reformation, the people of the Russian Federation have finally achieved the very thing President Shukshin had long promised, the Russian Dream. We will study the failings of Bukharin. The Premier and the President. The only door to Shukshin's office opened, and his bodyguards escorted Nikolai Bukharin to the seat adjacent to him. The man had changed. The once hopeful face of Lenin's heir, an exemplary visage plastered on posters throughout the Soviet Union, was now depressed, ragged, creased, and with wrinkles and shame. Shukshin sighed as the former premiers met his eyes. The old man dared to look at him for only a second before his gaze returned to his dirty soles. Was he really so terrified? "I won't object to your men shooting me," the old man whispered. The president paused, taken aback. "I didn't bring you here to shoot you," Shukshin said. "If anything, I felt living alone in that ruin was sufficient punishment. But once the Federation Council finds out you are still alive, I have no choice but to honor their arrest warrant." He stood up and looked out the window of his office. It was a beautiful day. The sun was shining, wind blew gently through jade leaves. Children were playing football in the streets, their lessons completed or escaped. It was not the sort of day to condemn a man. "The Federation will be a nation of laws," Shukshin said. "I can't let you go free of my own volition. The presidency must always be subject to Russian law, not above it as the Bolsheviks once were. You will have your day in court." Bukharin nodded. "I understand." But even then, Shukshin knew that the ex-premier would never have justice. The Russian people knew he was guilty, even if it wasn't true. The people would judge him as an old man who'd already punished himself would rot in a cell for the rest of his life. Was that to be his legacy? Turning Bukharin over to mob justice, letting his people slake their thirst for revenge, or would he give special treatment to a tyrant, the author of anarchy, the monster who'd condemn men no different than Shukshin to the gulags? Would he break the law he'd uttered for the sake of mercy? All men are equal before the law. And Bukharin was imprisoned. We can finally begin developing our first nuclear weapon. And the Russian Federation shall become a nuclear state and take its rightful place as a global superpower. The fourth power. We have rebuilt our infrastructure, reformed our tax policy, and rebuilt our industry. Now it is time to spread the Siberian plan to West Russia. The last 30 years of anarchy have tarnished our culture. It's time to revitalize it. For the Russian people are a great one. Sometimes you wonder how much pain can a man truly take and still be able to feel happiness. We will invest in the future of our nations, our students, and we will reform our education system. The old Siberian army becomes the old Russian army. I'll be honest with you, until now I've been using console commands to get the requirements to take certain focuses because I couldn't find this. I didn't know where to find it, but I know that I need to get the majority in the Federal Assembly. Now I can actually begin to do that. Sorry. All men must do their duty to the Federation. With our army in order, we will deal with the issue of Vladivostok. Give 'em hell, boys! We will approach the sphere. Let's begin the negotiations. And we have gotten all of Vladivostok back. Now that we've dealt with it, it's time to commence a meeting with High Command. Now that their encryption and administration is destroyed, they are broken. Am I gonna wait 100? No, I'm not. I'm usually a patient person, but my patience has limits. For the liberation of all Russians, after years of suffering and humiliation at the hands of the Nazi Reich, the Federation is ready to step westwards and liberate the occupied lands under the domination of the fascist state. It is time to do what we have promised to our people, for the liberation of all Russians. It is now or never. And we have declared war on the Einheitspact. Let's go. There's no turning back now. And we've got 2 divisions encircled. Where we have to be in somewhere, okay? We will plead to all of Europe for aid. We are just tearing into the German front. I will be honest with you, this used to be a lot harder. This used to be so much harder. It's either that or I just got better at preparing for this damned war. And we have defeated the Reichskommissariat Caucasian. We will call upon the orphan. We will launch Operation Bagration. And we have capitulated Ukraine. Now with all the important cities captured, we can demand a complete German surrender. The Treaty of Riga. The German foreign minister entered the manor, referred to as the House of the Black Hats by local Latvians. He had been sent here by the Führer to do the impossible job of negotiating a fair peace settlement for the Reich, a task he was already sure would be impossible. He kept a scowl on his face glistening with sweat as the rather unfriendly-looking Russian soldier escorted him to a study. Waiting patiently inside was none other than the Federation's most feared general, Alexander Novikov himself. The field marshal spat out the last word, a snarl on his face, his bright blue eyes glaring daggers at the foreign minister, akin to that of a wolf stalking its prey. "I'm sorry, Slav," the foreign minister replied, hate in this quivery, laughably high-pitched voice, drawing out the final syllable in an attempt to assert an aura of dominance over the smirking Russian who towered over him a meter away. "I don't like wasting my time with sub-Q." "Very well then," the journalist chortled, gesturing to the paper laid out on the table in the middle of the room rather elaborately. "Would you Ubermensch kindly sign the terms of surrender? The war has not gone well for your side, and I think we both agree it is time for our motherland's rightful territories to be returned to her. It's not like your forces could ever match up to ours anyway," Novikov mocked, flashing quite the grin. He picked up the papers detailing the Treaty of Riga, his hands trembling as he scanned through the terms, his worst fears being confirmed. Brauchstadt, Polsberg, Kiev and Riga, the damned beast wanted it all back. Unacceptable. Every cell in his body screamed as he put pen to paper. Signing the treaty that would cripple Germany forever. Disgraceful, atrocious. The piece of paper was practically spitting on a rice pride, on everything they stood for. And yet he had no other choice. So the curtains closed on this era as the tortured of Russia rejoiced. From Murmansk to Omolon, the Baltic to the Bering, their motherland emerges from the dust once again. However bruised and battered she may be, the treaty is a clear message to the world. Russia is back. And we have taken back all of our western holdings. Now we get a federation reborn, and we have to deal with the German werewolves that are still fighting on, and to deal with our economy and Moscovian. I have to say that one of the best things easily in this game by far is the imagery of each focus. Like, look at this. It's a piece of art, I swear. The Federation triumphs over the Einheitspact. In a shocking turn of events, the all-Russian army has overcome the vast German armies. Overwhelmed by both Russian air superiority and experienced soldiers, the Einheitspact has formally surrendered to the Russian Federation in the hopes of avoiding all-out nuclear war between the two countries. Only time can tell what the complete repercussions of Russian victory may have on both Europe and the globe. A bright future awaits the Federation. Better days ahead. Martial law will be declared in the reconstruction zones. Victory Day. And that is true. He saved millions of lives. Well done, Shukshin. And now we have to combat the war, and first we will assassinate their leaders. We will send in the Air Force, expand the intelligence services, and send humanitarian aid. We shall launch the final strike against the German snakes. Now after 2 years we reintegrate the Far East. And Vladivostok is back in the Federation. Since the problem of the German resistance is mostly done, we will now pick up the pieces. And now the German Hydra has been decapitated. Moscow has been rebuilt. Now it's time to focus on the rest of West Russia. And we have annexed Muscovy. Now the Phoenix rises once more. Moskva as Nami. Moscow, our home. No one in the world can rival Moscow's beauty. The Great Exodus. And we will unlock decisions to deport the German settlers that have plagued our lands. First, we will deal with the fate of Gotenland. And Gotenland will be Ukrainian again. Then the future of Crimea. Crimea is Ukrainian. The fate of St. Petersburg. Petrograd will be Russian again. We will deport the Baltic Germans, the Petrograd Germans, the Germans of Gotland, and the Marine Germans from Crimea. Take a look at this cultural map mode to why it's still here. You will decide the fate of Viborg. Viborg belongs to the Russian Federation. The Federation retakes Viborg. You'll begin the reconstruction of Ukraine. The Ukrainian identity shall be restored. We will demand Odessa from Romania. And if you don't agree with that, I'll find someone who does. And the Kingdom of Romania agrees to return Odessa. The German settlers were moved from St. Petersburg, but for some reason they are still here. Whatever. We will rebuild Caucasia. We will destroy his legacy. And finally, the people of the free world are being shown the horrors done by the Nazis come in the name of their superiority. And the second part. And that's the way it is. The people shall be freed. We will repair the oil fields. And finally the Caucasian cities. Next in the line are the Baltic states. First, Lithuania. The Siolai mines will be reopened and combat the German cultural influence. We will invest in Riga and revive Latvian culture. And last but not least, we will rebuild Estonia. And here we get a set of decisions to teach Lithuanian history, hold Lithuanian cultural festivals, promote Lithuanian food, and incentivize the settlers to return home. We will make investments in Estonia's infrastructure. Now, we will make Lithuanian the official language. And finally, we will encourage the people to learn their language. The only one that remains to be rebuilt is Belarus. Belarus will have its schools and its churches rebuilt. We will bring freedom to the people of Belarus and finish off with the industrialization of Belarus. Now that we have finished the reconstruction of every country under our control, it is time to decide their future. And let's start with Ukraine. Ukraine deserves its independence, and it's got a new leader over here. The future of Caucasia. We will grant the region total independence. The future of the Baltic states. And a three-state solution works the best. And finally, the future of Belarus. Belarus shall be free. Now, as we have rebuilt our liberated countries, it is time to see a dawn in Europe. The European continent has changed in the last decade. The hermit state of Burgundy has solidified its control over northern France. What their plans are for the world only God is unfortunate enough to know. Germany, although beaten back, is still a superpower that holds influence in both continental and global affairs. To the east rose a new hope in the form of the Russian Federation. Hailing from the vast plains of Siberia, the Federation has united all of Russia and has successfully liberated the peoples of Eastern Europe from its servitude to their foreign masters. With the map of Eastern Europe redrawn, we can now step forth and move our attention eastwards to Europe. The people of Europe yearn for freedom, and the Federation will do everything in its power to ensure that the continent is liberated from the rule of tyrants. Shukshin is wondering whether his decisions that he took were the right ones, but Pokryshin, as a fellow politician, reminded him to not dwell on his past decisions and just go get some sleep. To a hopeful future, friend. The fourth power. After so much blood has been spilled across our vast motherland, our hard work and toil have at last bear fruits as Russia stands once more as a global superpower, spanning from the Great Pacific to the Baltic. With all of Russia now truly united and free, we must decide what will be the Federation's place in this ever-changing world. Shall we join the Organization of Free Nations and work with our old American allies to ensure that the good cause of liberty long endures in the sea of tyranny, or shall we go our own way and bring the concept of the CSTO into the modern world? The future of a nation. And after many hours of debate, Shukshin stands up and he decides that Russia must chart its own course. Sorry America, we're going our own way. And form the CSTO. We will approach the Indians to perhaps join our alliance. We will approach Finland to ask whether they will be interested to join our alliance. This is considering their proximity to German allies around them. Let's see what they say. Birth of a new alliance. Those who are ready to bring forth a new alliance that will forever change the globe. With the people of Eastern Europe behind our great and noble cause, it is time to realize the concept that was once dreamed by Shukshin and Polshin so long ago. In the city of Novosibirsk, the place where it all began, we shall officially announce the creation of the Collective Security Treaty Organization, or CSTO. Birth of the Collective Security Treaty Organization. The Russian Federation, recently triumphant over Germany, has seemingly defied all international expectations with the founding of the Collective Security Treaty Organization, a defensive alliance spearheaded by the Federation aiming to stop all incursions into Eurasia by the Einheitspact and the Co-Prosperity Sphere. The Einheitspact and the Sphere have not been receptive of the formal entry of another superpower into the Cold War, declaring Russia's recent actions to be upsetting the already fragile global balance. A new order rises. And the Collective Security Treaty Organization was created with both India and Sweden as CSTO observers. Now it's time to deal with our next challenges. We have rebuilt the home army, now we will destabilize the general government. And we have just the man for the job. Krakow, rise! The Polish people, they are no longer afraid. An empire's last breath is typically a whimper. And the revolution has started. And now we have to quickly move to send a few volunteers before it is too late and they get crushed. In the meantime, we're gonna contact our brothers in Mongolia. And the Krakow uprising took place. The Reich continues to crumble, as it should. We will rally the nomads. We will send volunteers as well as air support. And our divisions have arrived. We will quickly move. And the Free Polish have won. And the Polish have gained their independence. Poland is not yet lost. And Poland has joined the CSTO. We will make some new friends in Mongolia. And now the Mongolian rebellion shall commence. And the rebellion has begun. We will quickly send volunteers. And our volunteers arrived. We have to move quickly. Man, and this is such a bloody war, but I'm not giving up on the dreams of Mongolian freedom. We are fighting on. Now that we have encircled so many of the troops, it seems like we are finally on the better foot. And finally, after almost a year of intense fighting, we have won, and the Mongolian people are finally free. Now we can go united and free. After so many years of pain and suffering and humiliation, the Russian Federation has been fully cleansed of its defeats at the hands of Germany. Russia is once more an influential nation capable of using its cultural, economic, and military might beyond its native borders. No more shall we fear our nation collapsing into anarchy. No more shall we fear the forces of authoritarianism taking hold of our motherland. No more shall Eurasia fear subjugations by foreign powers. The Russian Federation stands at the ready, prepared to do whatever it takes to ensure that the Russia and her allies forever remain united and free. Now we get the new frontier and we shall start our new space program. The Cosmodrome will be constructed, a new computer system will be invented, and we will select a cosmonaut. We have to redesign the suits a bit. And now the stars await. There are no more limits for the Russian Federation to face anymore. The Federation has overcome all challenges the world has had to throw at it. We have endured the collapse of the CSR, we have reunified our glorious motherland, we have transformed ourselves from an authoritarian state to one of the freest countries on the planet and have gone toe to toe against the Reich and triumphed. Now that our place in the world has been secured, our people liberated and the preparations made, it's time for the Federation to conquer the next great challenge that is within reach, the stars. Stellaris. The president watched on in anticipation from the safety of the control room as the countdown began. Beside him stood Pokrushin, who watched on in both curiosity and awe as the numbers slowly began to count down. 3, 2, 1. The engines roared to life, the ground beneath it white hot as the flames propelled the rocket away from the ground, leaving behind a trail of smoke as it raced for the stars beyond the crystal blue horizon. Shukshin, blue-eyed, looked back on the incredible journey the Federation had taken, from a struggling splinter of the Central Siberian Republic to the ones that would reunify Russia, the ones who would avenge 1941. The only country in history to ever triumph over the Wehrmacht, and the ones who would lay the foundation for the tomorrow in the skies. When the scientist told the president that the spacecraft had successfully made an orbital insertion and was prepared to make a landing on Great Luna herself, Shukshin simply nodded. He smiled, speechless, and the Federation looks up towards the stars above. Together, as what once seemed impossible is now possible, and a seemingly endless amount of new possibilities and dreams are now within reach. No longer a dream. 40 years ago, the German Wehrmacht advanced into Bukharin's Soviet Union and destroyed it, ripping out Russia's western holdings and throwing the rest into anarchy. In the east, the Japanese quickly seized on this opportunity and took Vladivostok and Outer Manchuria. For the next 20 years, Russia descended into total anarchy, with it splitting into dozens of warlords that would bring the country to almost total annihilation. But in 1961, the Falcon, Alexander Pokrushin, decided that this would be no more. With Novosibirsk behind him, he unified Central Siberia and then defeated the tyrant who killed Sablin. In a close-fought election, Vasily Shukshin became president and liberalized Russia. The country industrialized and became more powerful than even its predecessor, the USSR. An invasion was launched, perhaps a desperate one, to liberate its enslaved brothers to the west, and to defeat the Nazi machine that was lying beyond its borders. Even though millions of brave men and women died, this victory was worth it, for the people of the East had been liberated, and now they could truly stand united and free. The Poles, the first people to truly suffer the wrath of the Nazi machine, with support from their Russian brothers, rose up against their Nazi puppeteers. They went on to liberate themselves and join us, just as the Mongolians did in a bloody civil war. Now, the last frontier, the stars, have been conquered. And as a new era dawns upon Europe and the world, it seems like the tyrants of the old are falling and the hope of a brighter, freer future begins. God bless Russia, God bless Ukraine, God bless the Slavic people of the world, and God bless freedom and democracy in the world forevermore. See you next time and hope you have a great day. Bye. Hey there, if you like this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. I put quite a lot of work into these videos and I hope you enjoy them. See you!